Welcome to www.movie4k.network. Everyone has their own way of passing time during their downtime. One of the best ways to do that is to simply check out a movie that you like. Thankfully, there are thousands upon thousands of movies now that a person can watch. There are also unlimited ways one can watch them as well. One of the best ways is streaming movies online live. What is streaming anyways, and how is it different from just doing a rent and download movies online? First off, this allows you to not have to waste any precious space on your computer. When you download, you have to make room on your own personal computer to hold the movie or show that you are interested in. With streaming, you do not need to worry about having enough space. It is never actually saved to your computer. You just simply click the play button on your website of choice and you can start your movie adventure. How great is that? Even though there are sites out that show you how to copy to and watch movies on my computer. This is not necessary just for simple instant viewing purposes. You may wonder, where can I watch movies on the web? There are sites that allow you access to streaming movies online live. The options are truly unlimited. But you should know that since you will be streaming movies instead of simply downloading them to your computer, you will need to allow time for the website to buffer and get the content to you appropriately. This can take time, sometimes depending on how many people are watching the same movie that you are. For years, you won't find a home that didn't have cable or satellite TV. With such services, you can get your fill of your favorite TV shows and popular and classic movies. Of course, you have to be mindful of the time they will be shown on scheduled replays, if there are any, so that you won't miss them. Nearly all people relied on these services in the past. However, this number has been gradually reducing over the years due to another option that allows people to watch their favorite TV shows and movies in the comforts of their home and basically anywhere they are at any time of the day or night. Online streaming. By subscribing to an online streaming service and connecting to the internet, you can watch your favorite TV shows and movies on your device. Aside from your TV set, you can use your computer or laptop, tablet, and smartphone to view your show or film of choice. Although online streaming offers various perks to a TV and movie buff, there are still some disadvantages to the service as well. Here's a look at the pros and cons of streaming TV shows and movies online. Pros. Personalized viewing. With a streaming service, you can choose which shows and movies you want to watch anytime. As long as it has been shown on the big and small screen, you can view this when you log on to your streaming service account. With the right subscription, you can watch shows without any annoying and disruptive commercials. Most online streaming services will also recommend movies and TV shows that you might like based on your viewing history. Of course, you have the option of watching them or not. They are affordable. Cable and satellite service providers can charge you hundreds of dollars for a year's subscription. Online streaming services, on the other hand, are less expensive. Depending on the service you choose, you can pay for a month's services somewhere between $10 to $20. Their services are flexible. Lastly, cable and satellite companies can lock you into strict annual contracts. Online streaming services are very flexible. You can sign up for and cancel your subscription anytime without paying for any termination fees or penalties. Here's how. Listening to music. Streaming audio, or listening to music or speech on the internet, is bringing joy to many. How audio streaming works is easy to understand. When you click on a link to an audio file, your web browser will contact the relevant server on the internet. The server will then send a metafile to your browser. Metafile is a general term for a file format that can store multiple types of data. The metafile will tell your browser where it can find the audio file you are looking for. This may be on the same or a different server. The metafile will also deliver instructions on the type of audio file that will be delivered and how it should be played. The file will tell the browser to launch the particular audio player needed to play the sound file. The player that you need will be a plugin, an app or mini program designed to work with a particular browser such as Chrome, Internet Explorer or Firefox. Well-known plug-ins for browsers include Adobe Flash Player, QuickTime Player and Java. If your browser does not have the particular plug-in needed to play the sound file you want to hear, you'll have to download and install it before you can listen to the audio. Once it's ready to go, the plug-in will contact the audio server that is going to send the audio file and will tell it how fast your internet connection is. The audio server will use this information to decide which version of the audio file it will begin sending. If you have a fast connection, you have plenty of bandwidth, the audio server can send you a high-quality sound file. However, if your connection is slow, it will send a lower-quality sound file. Once it knows which version of the sound file to send, the server uses the UDP rules to send the audio in a series of packets. Buffering. A buffer is a part of a physical memory device where data is stored temporarily. For audio and video files, it is a section of your computer's RAM random access memory where the data can go in and out quickly. When the sound packets arrive at your computer, they are decompressed and decoded, and placed in the buffer in RAM. This buffer can hold a few seconds of sound. Once the buffer is full, the audio player starts using your computer's sound card to turn the data into music, voices and other sounds. As the audio is played, the data in the buffer empties while the audio server continues to refill the buffer by sending the rest of the sound file. The flow of the audio data through the buffer can go on indefinitely. However, the flow can be interrupted occasionally when, for example, the buffer has not received enough data to replenish it. This can happen if the speed of our connection starts to drop or internet traffic suddenly becomes very heavy. The buffer can also end up empty if you are processing other files or otherwise using up a lot of your computer's resources while you are listening to music. When the buffer empties, the audio will pause for a few seconds while the buffer is being refilled. Once the buffer is full again, playing will resume. The effect of a pause on your listening pleasure will depend on the source of the sound file. If you are listening to music being broadcast in real time, as a concert is actually taking place, you will miss a little bit of the music. But if the sound source is a pre-recorded concert, the music will resume from the point where it stopped. Watching a movie. Streaming video works in a similar way to streaming audio, except that the video has to be divided into its separate audio and video components when it is in the buffer in the RAM. The server that holds the video for streaming will have a video capture expansion card which can capture either a live feed from a video camera or a pre-recorded video. The capture board turns the analog signals it receives into digital data and compresses it. At the same time, it employs a trick to avoid having to capture more data than it needs in order to make transmission easier. When the camera used to record the video is stationary, it is not panning, the amount of data created can be reduced. This can be done because all moving images are made up of a series of frames that change in rapid succession to give the illusion of continuous movement. The compression system reduces the number of frames needed by comparing adjacent frames and only taking account of pixels that change from one frame to another. It does this by establishing what the background looks like. As long as the camera remains still, only the changes in the frame, such as the movement of the actors, have to be transmitted. The background only has to be transmitted again once the camera starts to pan and the background changes. Video streaming will also skip frames when your internet link is slow, which may make the video jerky. Thus, the faster your connection, the smoother the video will be. When your computer receives the video signals, it will decompress them and load them into a small buffer in RAM as it does for audio. At this point, the signals are split into separate video and audio components which are sent to the video card and sound card respectively, whence they are output to your monitor and speakers so you can watch the movie and hear the soundtrack. Entertainment on demand. We've come a long way since the internet began as a text-only medium. Though streaming technology is relatively young, millions of users flock to streaming sites every day to watch and record all sorts of multimedia. Thanks to streaming, you can listen to good music, attend a lecture, make a video call, watch breaking news and so on in real time as it happens. Satellite and cable television providers should be shaking in their proverbial boots. A new industry is emerging, providing consumers with movies on demand in the comfort of their own homes. This is no flimsy pay-per-view menu. Thousands of titles rest at the fingertips of the user, ready to be streamed directly into his or her home at the click of a mouse or the touch of a remote. This streaming video can be played on computers, Xbox 360 consoles, and even on special streaming video players that connect to personal home computer networks. These players are compact units, about the size of a DSL modem, designed to bring internet technology to the television and home theater system. A small remote allows the user to scroll side to side through a video queue of titles constructed by and for the consumer. Gone are the days of waiting for a good movie to be shown on television. Online movie rental companies are giving the consumer the power to watch what he wants, and when he wants. And the consumer is responding in a big way. The trend toward online movie rental is on the rise. Traditional movie rental companies are seeing the trend and reacting with swift measures. Competition is fierce. Companies who don't conform to consumer demands will soon be yesterday's news. Streaming video is the new face of home movie rental entertainment. Beyond the convenience and huge title selection, consumers are drawn by promises of no late fees. For decades, movie rental companies have been punishing their customers for holding on to movie titles past the rental term limits. Please visit our site to www.movie4k.network for more information on Movie4k Alternative.